When I was in graduate school, I auditioned for Academy Award-winning actor Richard Jenkins. And on my way up to that audition, I threw up. Oh, and I think the reason that I threw up was because I was so focused on the lines, and I'd spent all my time memorizing the lines, so that then when I was under pressure and I'm standing there in front of Richard Jenkins, all I'm worrying about is the lines, and they just go out of my head, right? So what happened is I decided, oh, I'm really not an actor, and I stopped acting. Then I went on to focus on directing, had some great success there, came to LA, started teaching acting, and I created the 9 questions of intentional acting. And then my students, I wasn't focused on teaching memorization. I was focused on teaching them acting technique. And so I had this one student, particularly Isabel, and she came from Tijuana, and she showed up in class, and I gave her a script. She had 2 pages of heavy dialogue to memorize. I didn't ask her to memorize. I just said, prepare for a cold reading. She got up 10 minutes later, and she was off page, off book, completely off book. I was like, Isabel, how'd you do that? And she said, I just did the 9 questions of intentional acting. And she's not the only student to have done this. I've had many other students do this. And so what I found for myself is that later on, those 9 questions not only gave my students more confidence in their performance, that got them into flow, and also helped them to detach from the result of what other people are thinking about them and just be in the flow and in the scene and connect, that's what happened to me when I got an audition for Crepe Race, a national commercial. And then when I was on set, I used those same techniques, those 9 questions of intentional acting. I focused on what was the relationship. I focused on what do I need the other person to do or say. I focused on what I was listening for and making the other person the most important person in the scene. I remember being on that set and really focusing on the person that I was talking to and making them the most important person in the scene. And you know what happened is I got into the flow, I had a blast, and when I walked off set, those producers stood up in Video Village and they gave me a hand. They were clapping for me and said that they were my biggest fans. So that's what the 9 questions can do for you. Stop memorizing your lines by rote. Get my book, Stop Memorizing Your Lines, Be Undeniable and Ready for Action, at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Routledge.